what I'm saying is, once you realize that there's an element to yourself that you don't like, and there's an element to yourself that you can change, those things that you don't like about yourself, you kind of don't want to go back. You're trying to always improve and help yourself. And hello, what is going on? We are back. I am very excited because I had a great weekend. It was nice. It was relaxing. Got a lot of things done. I was trying to make the best of the Saturday and Sunday. I'm trying to focus more on like keeping it like I treat it like any other day. So many of us, treat the weekends like it's like it doesn't count. So I've been really trying to, kind of stay present, enjoy the time that I have off, but also know that there's times where you can work on certain things, and I think we all need to do that. But it really helps when you focus on the tasks you need to get done for the week. And I was kind of behind, so I used Saturday and Sunday. And I was very happy that I got so much done. And I mean, that's the trade-off. I mean, it's just like, yeah, it sucks that you got to do it, but when you get it done, it feels so much better. So it kind of led me, I was talking last week and I was thinking about doing a segment about this type of subject. And then I realized that after this weekend, it was a perfect time for this subject. And whether we choose to accept it or not, I think so many of us are just, we all are full of shit. It comes down to it. I know that some people it's like, but we all really are. I mean, so many of us will run away from certain responsibilities and things that we need to do. And after this weekend, and then kind of going off of writing up my new goals, I talked about it in the last 2 podcasts that I'll be writing down a lot of my stuff, because I kind of felt like I was stagnant there for a second, and I feel much better because I wrote a lot of stuff down. So it has you facing a lot of your bad habits. And what I mean by we all are just full of shit, what it should be is we all like to lie to ourselves. That's what it is. People lie to us every day, but, we constantly are lying to ourselves as well. And I think that it's because it protects us. It protects our egos. It protects our confidence. Even for some people, it protects their identity, And, with that all being said, and just to understand, I think that it's important to talk about how you can care more, give a shit about yourself more. It seems so simple, but once again, there's people that haven't heard this, that haven't taken it upon themselves to help themselves, And I know this sounds like something for some of us who do everyday tasks well, and every day is, oh, cool, I did this and I did this. And there's people who don't do that, and I didn't know that. I mean, I didn't know there was people who accomplished so much. I was one of those ones that was constantly struggling, and I still am, always am, because life is struggle. But I mean, like, I just wasn't taught a certain message. So for those of you who haven't kind of heard this and maybe kind of better understood this, I mean, you just want to face these things in your life that you do, that you hate yourself, or bad habits you hate yourself that you do. Now, it's important for me to kind of get this distinguished boundary between when people talk about addiction, I'm not talking to you, because although, in my opinion, because I'm so close to that subject. I've seen a lot of friends, a lot of family, a lot of people go through addiction issues. I guess I could say for those of you, just keep trying, keep staying away from those things that you know that you shouldn't. Find professional help, find any sort of help that you can. Mainly, like I said, professional help really helps. You can go talk to somebody about it. But I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about the people who are just flat out full of shit and just lazy. So, me being one of those types of people, and then very quickly having to grow up in my life because of the things that I was faced with, I was forced to grow up very fast. So there wasn't a whole lot of room after that for being very lazy when I realized that if I wanted the things that I wanted, I was going to have to only do one thing because I wasn't given anything. I wasn't, my parents never, supported me like that financially. They never supported me like that. I have great parents, all that stuff. I'm not going to get into that, but what I'm saying is once you realize that there's an element to yourself that you don't like, and there's an element to yourself that you can change those things that you don't like about yourself, you kind of don't want to go back. You're trying to always improve and help yourself. But most of it, like I said, is because people are lazy and they don't want to face it. So I guess the big thing is why would somebody not want to face the things that they do that they really want to improve, but they can't? So it's like, why? Why would you do that? And why would you not want to do that? Well, I mean, to change yourself even a little bit, even something that you want to improve on, takes an insane amount of willpower. Now, just imagine you doing things that you do in your everyday life that you really detest doing. You don't want to do them. But, to be honest with yourself, you're just too lazy to work on it or face it. So I think it's the reason of it's just extremely hard. It's like it's hard. It's not easy. Trying to change anything is a pain in the ass. It's like trying to do anything that you actually want to do is a pain in the ass, even if you like doing it, So never mind working on something you extremely don't want to work on. So it's like, I'm not stupid. I get that part because I do it every day. I try to not do certain things that I know will only screw me over, So the big thing is just identifying why you wouldn't. It's because it's extremely hard. And it sucks when you fail because then you feel like a failure. But, I mean, after a while of learning and kind of learning some successful traits, I noticed that not doing anything, you're losing by default. Like you're already, by not working on it at all, you're just failing because you didn't even try. So, I mean, there's something to that as well. But also the benefit to all of this in really trying to help yourself is that you can improve on certain areas in your life that you want to improve on. So, I was thinking about really easy ones that come up. I Googled some, and then I also kind of just like thought of things that I know that people have such a hard time with. And they're usually, there's situations that are even deeper than them. So with these examples that we have, it's like there's usually things behind those examples. So it's like for somebody who's smoking, it's like, well, I'm anxious all the time, or I'm depressed, or I need, I just can't stop. It's usually because they're not dealing with something else. So it's like a compounding factor. It's like a domino effect. So it's like, don't just think of it as just quitting smoking. Think of it as you have to handle some other things in your life first before you can discipline yourself enough to quit smoking. You know what I mean? Like if you're just attacking this little bit of a problem and not addressing all the other messed up things that are going on in your life, it's going to be really hard to quit smoking. I don't care if, what anybody says. It's like you got to address certain things in your life. I mean, at least that's why I quit. I mean, I smoked for years, and yeah, I know it's terrible. It's awful. And I mean, I get it. I get why people smoke, but it was once I kind of like faced all the terrible, shit that I was dealing with there and the things that I didn't like about myself, a lot of those things, I was able to not be so anxious, because they say that anxious people worry about the future and depressed people are, worried about the past. At least that's what they, say. So I was always worried about the future. I was always worried about what's going to happen. So, there you are lighting up, you know, 4 or 5 cigarettes a day. Yeah, that's not a lot to most of you, but that's what I was doing. So quitting was just something that once I identified that, and I could take it away. Drinking a lot, that's a big one. That's usually one that everybody tries to improve on, because obviously alcohol is a poison. It's not going to be good for you. With that being said, I mean, I enjoy drinking every once in a while with my friends. We're all human. Why the hell, duh. But if you're drinking all the time and it's inhibiting you from doing something, it's like, well, then maybe, talk to somebody, go seek professional help, but if it's something you really want to improve on, it's like you're only going to improve if you try to change it. So once again, if you don't try, you're just going to fail by default, and that shit sucks, and it's going to make you feel worse. You're going to drink more, and it's just a never-ending process, right? Hey, I like White Claws and Trulies. I know I'm going to be made fun of because that's just what happens, but it's the truth. It's like, every once in a while, I totally understand why somebody wants to have a drink or something. And I understand this other side of this fitness, health, and wellness. Like, oh my God, I would never drink. I never put poison in my body. I get that part too, but it's like, we live in the real world. It's like people have issues. People want to mask these problems sometimes. Although I don't think that's the best way. I mean, it would be nice just to have you like to drink because you just like, to like hang out with your friends, get a little silly. I mean, get back to the innocence of it. That's why you liked it, not because you had a terrible day or not because, you hate yourself or something along those lines, but it's like, you got to give a shit. You got to care about yourself. So, that one was, pretty easy, but the basic, you can go with basic health too, just trying to take care of yourself better. If you think of all these things that you're doing, of just things you just don't take care of yourself, it could be even showering. I don't know, but people do that. People just like are so out of it. They just don't, their self-care is so off. I was doing it myself. I was just beating up my body. I mean, for I think it was like 6 months. For like 6 months, it was just like workout, train 15 hours, get, 6 to sometimes 8 hours of sleep. Not consistently, so you're just burning the candle at both ends. I'm still working hard. I'm still doing all the things that I said I was going to do, but my self-care went down. My body was just deteriorating. My mind was just deteriorating. I wasn't doing anything fun. I wasn't, there was no other, like, it was like a one-sided conversation when I would talk, because it would be always about business or training or working out. And that's not me. That's just not who I am. So my self-care plummeted. So it could be just to go, hey, make time for yourself if you're one of those that have already disciplined themselves so much just to go, go, go. It's like every once in a while you gotta take a day or two. So I got massages. I think I went to go get massages. I was taking off a couple of hours, going to breakfast, hanging out with my family a little bit more. And then all of a sudden it just kind of felt so much better. And I went to Rhode Island and I went to Vermont just a couple of weeks ago. Totally help. So, I mean, it's like, just do those things. So basic health stuff you can improve on. Relationship stuff I try to not talk about. And I mean that, like, I think it's really hard to give people good relationship advice. I think that, like, relationship advice can be, it's like 50-50, with every person almost. I mean, maybe not if you explained the entire situation and was completely honest about yourself and that person, maybe then you can, somebody can give you advice. But it's the same thing. Like with relationships, it's like, I have to say this. It's like, if you really want out, you got to get out. I mean, I've done that. I've been in terrible relationships where I've been like, you know what? Yeah, this is terrible. And even though I didn't have a plan afterwards, like I didn't know where I was going to live, where I was going to go, I still did it. And it was a great, it was sucky at the time, but it's like, you got to know that you're going to be able to get through it and you're strong enough. And I just stopped seeing that person. And that's happened to me a couple of times. So I would say, it's like for relationship stuff, and then it's like if you wanted to improve or be better for your partner or better for yourself, um, you can improve on certain things. Like if you're not going out all the time, you can make a date night. You could do things, even though that that you're not going to want to do in the moment. Usually when you get there and you end up being there, you kind of wanted to go. You kind of start to let go, and you start to realize why you set that date, or why you set that thing that you wanted to do, because you knew that you wouldn't do it. So now that you're out doing it, it's kind of like you're like living in the presence, and you're like, oh, all right, cool. Well, yeah, that worked. So, and then obviously, the thing that I can tie it up with, what I do here, but it's more like for like health, wellness, nutrition, um, just exercise, training. I think those are another one. I mean, people definitely don't set enough goals. You don't give a shit enough about yourself. You just think you're like, oh, well, this is me now. And I think this is a dangerous message to just say, like, oh, this is me. Like so many people say that, and in 20 years, they hate themselves. I never wanted to be like that. So just remember, like, I don't give a shit how this sounds. I'm not the weird one for doing push-ups and sit-ups and running every once in a while, or hitting the bag, or weightlifting. I think it's weird that people think that that's like such a strange thing to be doing so consistently. It's like you just want to take care of yourself, that's all. So whatever your fitness level, whatever you want to do or whatever you want to accomplish, it's like just keep going. It was never about anybody to begin with. Like, I've kind of taken a different approach, maybe not 100% different approach to the way that how I practice balance. But so I'm in the industry, I'm in like the fitness industry, and I need to care about everybody, and I need to care about myself too. But if we're practicing balance, is telling somebody they need to work out 7 days a week, 2 hours a day, or an hour and a half a day, really all that practical for their life? I mean, maybe if they're a competitive athlete, or they're doing something, extremely extraordinary for a short burst of time, maybe. But for the most part, it's like, take care of your health, because it helps you not become lazy. It helps you actually give a shit about yourself and other people. I saw a post today, and I'll put it up, and I saw it, and I had to post it because it was just so powerful, for me, because it was just so true. It's really what how I actually do. I love this. To me, training has never really been about the muscle size or strength. It's been my way of dealing with life. Dave Tate said that, and I agree. So for me, turning to that was a way that I can work on myself to not be lazy and actually give a shit about myself. So once I started doing that, I started to realize that there was other avenues in which I can improve. Like education, putting myself through school, that was tough. Really stepping out there into the light and realizing that I was a professional. Like when I really started to think about it, I'd been doing it for, best part of 10 years. And like, so you start kind of pushing yourself to care more, give a shit about your future, give a shit about yourself. And it's such a positive message that it's like, how can we dispute that? When the pandemic when the pandemic happened and people were forced to not go to work and not do certain things, and a lot of them got their livelihoods and their passion, maybe not passions, but a lot of them got what they did for money, and they also did their routines. Everything was just turned upside down. Everything was kind of taken. And it took a lot of people just to kind of bounce back, and some people even haven't. But I can promise you, the people that were embracing their work ethic before and embracing the struggle and giving a shit about themselves, those people were the ones that were still doing anything, something through this. and they were trying to be strong for themselves and other people. So, listen, I mean, with that being said, I just think just test yourself. Enough is enough. You know, it's like make sure that you're always trying to at least challenge yourself a little bit every day. I mean, can we go as simple as that? I mean, I think so. I mean, giving a shit is so important about yourself. You just want to care. You know, I know it sounds so crazy, but once again, so many people just don't do it. They just don't care for themselves. You know, they care for everyone else, or they just don't care about anybody else or them themselves. I mean, it all happens. But just, if you can, think about that one thing that you're doing that really upsets you and try not to do that thing for, I don't know, a month. A month sounds good. And then go from there. You know, if it's any of those things I was talking about, those are the easy layup things to improve on yourself. But I'm sure all of you have all sorts of different ones. So listen, I mean, with all that being said, I would just say the best thing to do is call yourself out on your bullshit. Because we're all full of shit. So just try to work on yourself. Try to find something that you absolutely know you should not be doing and try and change it. Simple, easy. Let me know how it goes. I'm out of here.
Live Sculpted.